to come here today to listen to Dr. Sylvia. Beautiful, right? We are on right now and we are recording right now. Great. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the Aspire for Excellence Foundation webinar series holding today, the 17th of June, 2023. Today, we'll be looking at a topic that concerns everybody here. It's an exciting topic. And the title for today's talk will be tips for maintaining your personal health and wellness. Tips for maintaining your personal health and wellness. And with us today is Dr. Sylvia Okoro. Dr. Sylvia Okoro, she is a qualified medical doctor and a registered nurse stroke midwife. She holds a master's degree in public health from the University of Port Harcourt School of Public Health, and she's currently completing her doctorate degree in public health from the same university. Additionally, she possesses specialty certifications in mental health and wellness from the University of Washington. Dr. Silva Okoro is a highly respected and dedicated lady. She's dedicated in her roles as a medical doctor, in public health, as a physician, and as a public speaker. Her primary focus is on improving healthcare and promoting public health globally. Alongside her clinical practice, Dr. Silva has played a pivotal role as a public health physician, gaining extensive experience in community mobilization and engagement. She has successfully coordinated multiple community interventions and outreaches, both within and outside the country. Her leadership abilities are demonstrated through her position as the head of COVID-19 home-based management with the Rivers State Ministry of Health, where she has become a prominent figure. Additionally, she currently works with the National Agency for Control of HIV/AIDS. Dr. Silva Okoro has been privileged to deliver impactful speeches at prestigious international conferences, seminars, and symposiums. Her knowledge and passion have resonated with audiences from diverse backgrounds. Her engaging speaking style and selfless service to humanity and the society have garnered numerous accolades and widespread recognition. Among her accomplishments, Dr. Sylvia has been honored with multiple awards, including the Mother of Peace and Virtue Award by the Universal Peace Builder in Pennsylvania in the United States of America. She is also a distinguished icon of Human Development and Health Award, the Excellent International Public Speaker Award, the Max Global Builder Award by the Max International in the USA, and most recently, she's had an award of commendation by the Rivers State Ministry of Health for her commitment and service in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. These awards are a testament to her outstanding contributions to the fields of medicine and particularly public health. Dr. Silva Okoro, she's married and she's a devoted Bible student who practices true Christianity. She owes her success to God and to her family. Just before I welcome her, I just want to give the ground rules, okay? For the ground rules for this meeting, please, I will want you all to please mute your mic so as to reduce echo and frequency interference. I would also plead with you to put your videos off so we can reduce network bandwidth consumption and data transfer latency. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Dr. Sylvia Okoro. Madam, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mike Iwebu. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, everyone listening to me today. I want to welcome all of you, especially I want to thank the Aspire Foundation for what they do. I'm so excited when I heard their objective and their goal and what they've been doing to impact humanity. I said, well, I will be privileged to participate in your program. And here we are. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael, with all your team out there. Today, we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic, as you've heard from Mr. Mike. And this topic is it's peculiar to to what I believe. And when I was told this is a topic you want to develop, I said, okay, why not? Everyone needs to take charge of their wellness. I have seen that we all have a legacy to success, significance, and good health. We all want to leave something behind. We all want to be remembered for something, but sometimes we are hindered and challenged by our health. Sometimes we get to a point where we want to do the best, we want to transcend, we want to get to that point where we want to impact to our society. But at that point, we find out that we have one problem or the other. So what could be the cause? It could be health challenges. It could be we neglected our lifestyle. It could be we live carelessly while we are younger and all that. And so this topic, your personal health and well-being, is critical to all our life. I have learned that as a public health physician and as a health worker, for me to live healthy, for me to take care of people, I need to take care of myself. So what are we going to be discussing today? Let's see this next slide, please. Thank you so much. All of us believe in the Holy Book. All of us believe in the Bible. Some of us believe in the Quran. Some of us have something that we believe. But for the Christians, and which is my faith, I read something in the Bible and it touched me, and I said, wow, even God himself is interested. And look at what he said. Beloved one, I wish above all things that you continue to prosper and enjoy good health, even as you are now prospering. It will interest you that this is where the sentence was coined. Health is wealth. Even God himself is wishing us wealth, prosperity, if we have good health. And that's also resonated with me. It's essential that I take care of myself if I want to see leading change in the life of people. Next slide, please. So this is what we are going to be discussing today. We're actually going to be seeing, knowing what health is, beyond self-care, beyond work-life balance. Everybody think that living healthy is the same thing as wellness, well-being. But today, we're going to understand the difference between healthy living and your well-being. You're going to be seeing some basic tips on how you can stay healthy, concept of well-being. For this concept of well-being practices and all that, I want to say that because of how elaborate this discussion on personal health is, we're not going to go in detail on the well-being practice, but you're going to keep a date with us next month when we are going to be discussing the science of well-being and well-being practice. I promise I've given Mr. Mike my word. I'm going to come back to discuss it because it's actually a topic on its own. While I'll be touching and bringing out the basic points that you need to understand so that you put yourself in the same line of thoughts of what we are about to teach today. What would be our learning outcome? You, my audiences, should be able to list the various steps in staying healthy. You're also going to learn how to be in charge of your health and your well-being. You're going to be seeing certain statistics. When a doctor asks you, what are your numbers? You actually don't understand what he or she is saying. So you're going to understand what are those basic investigation, basic screening that you as a human should do, and how often should you be doing as a woman, as a man, as a worker, as a mother, as a father, and all that. What are those basic screening that is necessary, whether you're sick or not, that you should be doing? And you're going to be identifying some of these parameters. So let us go into introduction. So what is well-being? Well-being is a positive, well-being is a positive and unifying concept that captures multiple factors that contribute to workers' health and quality of life. No doubt, the recent coronavirus has actually incited a lot of psychological distress in most persons today. I can tell you, we have learned a lot from the pandemic. Companies have learned a lot from the pandemic. We ourselves have learned a lot, and we have seen that there is need for us to take care of our health. I can tell you for free because I have experiences. I've seen people. I have quite a lot from some patients that I managed during the COVID. And that is why I want to say that it is better we prevent diseases from occurring before they occur. I want you to understand something. For me, I strongly believe in one sentence, and that is one fact, that our vitality is a reflection of our cellular health. I want to repeat that. How healthy you are is dependent on how healthy your cells are. There are a lot of things that are there. Of course, you know from the beginning that individual cells form tissue form organs, and organs form what? System. And I've come to see that cellular biology is a new medicine, is a new thing. So if one organ has failed, it means that the individual cells and tissues that form that organ has also failed. And so what are some of those basic things? What are the things you have to do to nourish, to take care of your cellular health? And those things you're also going to understand. You're going to see why from childhood, it is necessary to adolescent, and then progressing to young adulthood, and then to adulthood, and then to old age. You will see how all this play in. Like I said, there's a question I want to ask. Is a person really in good health simply because he does not feel sick? What do you think? I think I want to see some charts. What do you think? I'm asking a question. Is a person, I'm still on that picture. Yeah, I want you to understand something with that picture. Mr. Mike, please, could you just go back a little? Yes. So I'm asking a question. I want to see someone else respond. Is a person really in good health simply because he or she is not sick? What is the answer? Just one. No, I just no. Just chat. Yes. Just no. Okay. Thank you, Peter Annie. You are the first. Thank you, Mr. Geoffrey. No. I am happy that you have this perception about health, and sickness. And you're right. Now, you look at that picture, I can tell you we are faced with a declining health. I mean, we are seeing this epidemiological decline, transition from communicable diseases to non-communicable disease. I mean, while growing up, I didn't know anything about cancer. While growing up, I didn't understand what stroke was all about. I mean, I could see old women still riding their bicycle. I could see men still go to the hospital. I still go to the farm. I mean, I could see women go to farm and then they will get the shout that she has delivered. I mean, just like that. There was nothing. I mean, I could see that, but it will shock you that a girl of 5 years can identify with diseases like cancer, like stroke, like diabetes, like high blood pressure, cataract, glaucoma. What has changed? And I kept asking myself that question. What have we done wrong? While in medical school, I know they keep saying I ask a lot of questions and I'm so logical. I want to understand. Why is it that we are seeing more of NCDs, non-communicable diseases? Why is it that people are breaking down with cancer, prostate in men, cervical cancer, all kinds of cancer, breast cancers, even as young as 20? According to World Health Organization recent statistics, that men 20 to 35 years, 79% rate of having high blood pressure. I mean, it's so alarming. What is wrong? What has changed from what we used to know to what we're doing now? So in most persons, you can identify with this. I mean, a lot of persons' room and bedroom have turned to a mini pharmaceutical store. I mean, when they open their dressing table, it will shock you the numbers and bottles of drugs and supplements that they take. Oh my God, what is really the problem? So at this point, what is health? So I'm going to be giving the WHO definition of health. following the question I asked, that because you're living healthy, that because you're not sick, does not mean that you're healthy. WHO define health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. So there is now a change. Okay, so physical you can identify. So when you see somebody with high blood pressure, when you see somebody with malaria and typhoid, when you see somebody that is sick in the hospital, somebody undergoing dialysis, you could identify that this person is sick. But what about if you can't take little stress in the house? Are you healthy? What if you're so tired about the nagging of your wife? Are you healthy? What if you're tired about your boss bossing you around and you just can't take it and you flare up? Do you see yourself acting below the borderline? I mean, I'm going to teach this next month. You're going to understand what are the things you see above the borderline, below the borderline, to tell you if you're mentally healthy or not. What if you can't take the stress in the society? What if there's unemployment? Yes. What if you lost your job? Yes. What if you're suffering, or you're suffering you're grieving? I can identify with you very well. But should that grief prolong to the point where you're affected and your society and your children are affected? What if your husband divorced you? And so, are you socially well? What if the whole process, the whole election, you're having election anxiety, you're so tired about the leaders and all that, you're grumbling? Okay, yes, so what? They will be there. Your ability to be intentional about problems and then find a way of adjusting means that you are actually well. But if you can't balance this, then you're not well socially. So all these are what WHO have put together, and that's what we want to discuss today. There are a lot of effects that come after every problem. So I can identify with people having a lot of problems due to the pandemic. Yeah. Some person lost their job. Companies sacked a lot of persons. I could see that. Children lost their parents, yes, and all that. So there are a lot of mental issues that we are experiencing today. The next is what is well-being. Like I said, I'm going to be touching it. Well-being is not just the absence of disease or illness. It's a complex combination of a person's physical, mental, emotional, and social health factors. It is strongly linked to happiness and life satisfaction. In fact, I love this definition so well. You know why? I could say every month, let me go for exercise on a Saturday today because I have the time. And so let me go do workout. Because I have the time, and that is why I'm doing workout. Is that well-being? The answer is no. That is simply trying to stay healthy once in a while. And what if I decide to, okay, let me relax, let me watch football, let me listen to cool music and all that. Let me go to spa, let me go to sauna and enjoy the feeling. Well, those are, they make you good. Yeah, they are very nice. They are very good habits, but that is not really well-being. They don't really make you happy. It's not something you grow, you live with. It's not in you like it is necessary. The way that you must eat, you must take breakfast, you must take your bath, you must brush every morning. So these are basic practices that you can't do with that. You're not complete leaving the house and you didn't brush your teeth. So those are basic hygiene that you make, personal hygiene. They are not part of you. So what are the things that are part of you that promote well-being? Don't worry, we're going to discuss all that in our next episode. Yeah, so let's say, so I brought in this work-life balance because of the audiences I'm going to be meeting. All of us work in the company. All of us have one job or the other. But the question I want to ask you now, are you in your job? Are you working with Mr. Mike because of the paycheck that he has promised you? Or are you in the company because of the paycheck that the company has promised you? So if your work is your vocation, if you see your work as something, a calling, something you love doing, you're dedicated to it, regardless of what the condition you find in the work is, then you have a good work-life balance. I hope you understand that point. Yeah. So if you work solely just to earn money and that's all, I mean, you are not really balanced. That is not work well-being. I can tell you, anything can move you. So I want to advocate. I want to say, if you don't like your job, please quit, because in the long run, you're going to make the whole system a mess. Because there's no point if somebody has a sickness that is infectious. We don't want to transmitting that infectious disease to. So if you have a social illness, as it were in this case, please don't transmit it to other workers. Just quit. Write your resignation letter. Go find some job that you can enjoy. Because the more you grumble, the more you're so distressed, the more you're anxious. I mean, you're actually impacting on you negatively on your health. And so when it's time to retire, because you never loved that job, you're retiring with high blood pressure. You're retiring with diabetes. You're retiring with prostate cancer. You're retiring with all sorts of things. So we don't want it to happen to all of you listening to me today. So, next slide. And so let's see what self-care. Yeah, I've taught this. So I just want you to understand the difference between healthy living, self-care. Self-care, are those things that you do once in a while, like I explained. Once in a while, you just want to take care of yourself. You don't, your doctor tells you because you're diabetic, please, you have to avoid high carb. You have to do exercise. You prevent injury to your toes and all that. So self-care in itself, the doctor has said it. Will you continue? Will you do it? And so we have two classes of patients now. Some will decide to do it, take it as a well-being, because they are getting better, and managing their diabetes is linked to this practice. Why some other person might see it another way. Okay, so my see it as just healthy living once in a while. Okay, I just drink Coke, doesn't mean anything and all that. So I want you to understand that these things are things you do all the time, but by the time we go into the science of well-being, which is where Dr. Sylvia wants all of you to find yourself, not just healthy living, but understanding and having a well-being practice that you can transfer to your children and generation ahead, that you can transfer and form the habit in your workplace and develop a new model that could make where you're working, the workplace, a heaven in itself. Okay, so let's go straight. You're going to skip the next slide and let's just go straight to, thank you so much. So let's see, what are the steps to remain healthy? Now we are getting into the meat of the day. So what are the steps to remain healthy? Some of you will be thinking, okay, I'll start analyzing, eat good food, drink good water, exercise, and all that, and take good supplements. All this fall into one category. We are bringing it as it should be. I'm teaching this as professional as it should be. And so these 4 topics are the steps to remain healthy. All the ones that you used to hear, you used to listen to and watch, fall under the 3rd category. So one is correct knowledge. We're going to understand that. So if you want to get healthy, you need to get the correct knowledge. You need to develop the right attitude. You need to practice healthy living, which all of you can identify with. So steps to healthy living. Yeah, good diet, exercise, sleep, rest. Those fall under the 3rd category. Then trust in God, the 4th one, which is where our spiritual makeup, spiritual connection come in. Very important for you to remain healthy. So let's take the first one, get correct knowledge. Get correct knowledge, yeah. Have you heard the slogan, knowledge is power? Yes, do you believe in it? Yeah, today's lecture, if really knowledge is power. Yes, it is. And they say, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. But I could tell you now, I could tell you for free that there is one disease now that people, educated people, are suffering without realizing. And this is something that, I mean, we need to watch, we need to check very well. You know what it is? It is called alliteracy. Alliteracy. You know what alliteracy is? I mean, it's a new dictionary word. Check it. You have literacy, you have illiteracy. Alliteracy. A situation where those who are learned stop reading. Somebody is smiling. People who have gone to school, who are educated, who have their degrees and their masters, they stop reading. I mean, the world of technology has made it so difficult that people cannot even carry their Bible and read, hard copy Bible, and read, and open. I remember my mom, my grandmother, they used to open and read, and then their eyes were so sound, they could see tiny. Now, the handset, you want to bold it and all that, so you're even not exercising your lenses and your eyes anymore. I mean, because of technology and all that. It has its own bad side as also. Okay, it has actually led to we living a lot of lifestyles and adapting to what I got techno stress is now affecting us. Yeah. Okay, so the question now is, so illiteracy, we stop reading. We don't want to know what is happening. Social media, even the one that is wrong. I mean, you want to hear everything on the TV. You want to hear everything in the social media. You want to tweet everything and all that. Sometimes it can be dangerous because sometimes you feed your brain with things that are not correct. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you need to have the right knowledge. You need to source that correct health information. What kind of information? I'll tell you a sad story. Last month we lost a Christian sister in my denomination. And you know what happened? What did she do? I mean, she saw on the Facebook somebody advertising a leaf, a herbal leaf, and who knows? She just felt she knows this leaf. She has been, of course, she falls into secondary infertility, and she'll be looking for a child after the first pregnancy and all that. So when I heard the story, it's so touching. You know what she saw on the Facebook, a fellow woman advertising a leaf that once you put it in water and drink, I mean, you just take it. And she felt she had seen that leaf before behind her garden. And then she went plugging the leaf, boiling it, drank it for 7 days. On the 8th day, someone that had no renal problem. A week after, she started having edema. Her whole body was edematous, swelling everywhere. And she was rushed to the hospital in Benin City. This happened in Benin. And when they investigated, her kidneys have packed. Within 2 weeks, it was so rapid. Within 2 weeks, she was placed on dialysis. And the 3rd week, she died. A woman of 45 years old. And she died. What are your sources of health information? Truth or myth? You believe anything you see? Or just because culture says it should be this and you think it's true? Yeah. So what are the things? Because your friends, you see them doing that and you feel you want to do that. Foods and supplements. So what kind of supplement are you taking? What kind of food are you taking? Are they the ones that are science-based? You are aware that you don't just take any supplement because they came to Nigeria and they want to advertise and make money. So what kind of supplements are you taking? What kind of food? Do they have peer-reviewed studies? Are they backed by science? And that's why I said sometimes those who are learners stop reading. You just see anything and you think you've gone to school, but you don't understand basic things that has to do with yourself. You have to be in charge. And you don't do that. You don't read. You don't want to understand the basic truth. So what is your perception about herbal medicine, orthodox medicine, and all that? What's your perception? Do you condemn it entirely? No. Are there some practices that are okay? Yeah, fine. And all that. So what are the recent findings? During the COVID, I mean, Nigerians taught us a lot of things. I mean, I'm so proud of everyone in this country. I mean, Imagine what the death rate would have been if there are no basic things that we felt we should do. And yes, even though we're in the initial stage, science didn't accept it. But for crying out loud, some of you did steam inhalation. Yes, steam inhalation has been there. But I mean the local one. Sometimes you take silver bread, you put in the water, you're inhaling, you're taking ginger and garlic and hot pepper soup and all that. I had a patient who believed in drinking hot pepper soup all the time. And behold, he was okay, you know. So the lot of things we are doing, you know, that was actually helpful and all that. So we had the right knowledge. But what about if you're listening to me and you're not taking vaccine? Yeah. Everybody have different opinion about vaccine and all that. But sometimes I ask myself, and some person, not even the COVID, there's some person that don't even believe in any vaccine at all. And I ask myself, if our parents were in this age of social media, would they have given us BCG vaccine? I mean, there's a lot of vaccines to prevent us from measles, from chickenpox. They didn't go to school. They were not well learned, but the white man brought something. And they listened. There was no fallacies, a lot of things about it that would put fear in them. There was no CCCs and satanic power linked to it. They all believe in whatever they believe then. But they gave you and I BCG vaccine that protected us from getting TB and all that. So the question now is, what source of knowledge are you getting about health? So this, I'm just going to rush through. I brought burnout because it's also something that is affecting health workers. Occupation is one of the occupational problem that we see today. Everyone is affected by burnout. Women especially. Yeah, we are superwoman. Yes, but for crying out loud, not to your detriment now. You say because you're doing school runs. Well, when I enter exercise, I will explain that very well. You're doing school runs, and that's why you cannot take time and go for exercise in the morning. You see those children, they will go, marry, and then you'll be lonely in the house, and then you'll be having arthritis, and then you start thinking of who will help you, and then your daughter is enjoying with the husband, your son is enjoying with the wife, going from one honeymoon and the other, and you're having arthritis and all that, because you didn't take care of yourself, because you feel you should be working 24/7 and all that. So crying out loud, burnout is becoming a global menace, and we need to check it for all of us who work. You feel so exhausted, so debilitated, emotionally drained, unable to meet your demands. As a man, you can no longer perform. As a man, you come back home and you're so tired. I mean, your wife didn't send you to do that. Okay, so you must know how to have work balance. You must know how to live healthy and all that. So on the burnout, these are just self-reflection questions that I want you to ask yourself. Have you experienced burnout before? Are you burnt out listening to me? I mean, we started this 7:30, 7:32, and you've been working since morning. Are you sleeping as you're listening to Dr. Silver? Are you feeling sleepy? Or are you lying on your bed? Okay, so just wake up, you know. So you burn out if you're doing all this. I mean, you burn out. If not, can you go out and all that? In the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, can you imagine yourself? Where will you be? How healthy will you be looking and feeling in the next 3 years, 5 years? I mean, if you continue in the same routine that you're doing now, do you think you'll be burnt out? Or do you think you can actually manage your health? Well, my guess could be yes for the last question. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years to come, you think you can still be the way you are? My guess is as good as yours. The second is the right attitude. What are the steps? What are the steps to healthy living? What are the steps to healthy living? Here is develop the right attitude. So what right attitude do you want to develop? Your attitude determines your altitude. Let me ask you a question. Have you heard this slogan? Something must kill a man. Oh my God. Something must kill a man. Oh my God. When my patient tells me that, I have this patient, I mean, you know what he said? It's like he said, the dad, the dad actually lived 60 years. And he knew when the dad, he knew he was born and he met the dad smoking. And nothing happened to the dad. The dad had no cancer. The dad kept living. The dad is 60 and all that. So that's the health belief of this individual. Something must kill a man, right? So we had all that. Some were even saying it during the pandemic era. I mean, and all that. You shared such attitude towards your life. Do you think it's not necessary what you eat, what you drink? It's not necessary, right? Do you think what you do does not matter at all? So your attitude towards life and everything is actually determines how far you're going to go. Do you know that what's the lifespan? I was Googling it for Nigeria, is between 50 and 55. Well, in a very good society, in a very civilized setting. But I can tell you that there is no one that is above 40 years that does not experience one health challenge or the other. Yes, proven science. 40 years and above have one health challenge, even as small as pain of whatever part of the body. Yeah. And so I've always said that sometimes people suffer, people experience in old age what they have actually, the life they live while they were younger, because when you were less than 20, 25, you were so vibrant, so exuberant, you're doing everything, you are playing ball in the field, you could go all around, you could jog 4 times around the football field, and you're not tired. And then when you find yourself 30, 35, 40, you see, what do you find out? You find out that you've lost it. And there are 3 things that makes people to be so scared of aging. That's another attitude. They are so scared of aging because aging comes with 3 things. 1, pain. Aging comes with pain. Aging comes with loss of memory, yes. And aging comes with loss of energy. And you find yourself not climbing those staircases that you used to climb. So these 3 things are what shape people's mind that they don't want to age. However, aging is so lovely. I mean, you age gracefully. And you will understand that you have actually practiced well-being. You have actually taken care of yourself at the age when you're doing the things that your age mates cannot do. That is where prevention comes in. When you see yourself doing what your age mate cannot do, then you have actually done well while growing up. So do it yourself attitude is a good thing. Your health is in your hand, and that is well-being. If you know that your health is in your hand, it's not in the hand of your friend encouraging you, let's go for jogging, let's go for scotch, let's go to the golf club, let's go there. It is not in the hands of your friend. It is not in the hands of your husband telling you, I want you to lose weight because I don't like the way you are. This isn't how you are when I married you. Your health is in your hand. Your husband shouldn't remind you to do that. And for crying out loud, your wife shouldn't remind you, if you're a man, that you should chop up those belly fats. I mean, what help is it that I married you looking so well trimmed and you could put on your tie and it fits you well? You're already going out of shape. So it's not in the hands of your wife to change. It is in your hands to look good because you want to, because that is where wealth comes in. So you got to do it yourself. You got to be optimistic about everything about life. The 3rd is practice healthy living. So if we add the knowledge about good, healthy tips, and we add your attitude towards life, towards what you believe, nothing should kill a man. Yes, because, I mean, research studies and World Health Organization said that over 70 diseases that we suffer today can actually be prevented. If they cannot be prevented, I will not be here talking to you. I will not go and study public health medicine, because I believe that most of the things that people suffer today can actually be prevented. So if you have an idea that cancer runs in your family, yes, some cancers are genetically modeled. So if you have that idea and you research in the past that some parents in your lineage heart 1, 2, 3 cancers, it means you have to be careful about your life. You need to tell your children how to be careful about your diet. You need to stop avoiding carcinogenic materials that could predispose you to having that. So you could actually prevent that. If you understand that maybe someone died as a result of hypertension or diabetes, then you need to start watching your lifestyle, watching what you eat, because you don't want to complicate to that point where it will happen to you. So your attitude towards all this matters a lot. So healthy living. So that's what I said, that you can actually prevent over 70 diseases can actually be prevented. I can tell you for free. So let's see, what are those healthy living? What are the tips? What are those things that you need to do? They say practice makes perfect. Yes, and that's why well-being practice is very, very important. Yeah, you got to practice how to eat healthy, eat right. You have to. So these are the 5 things we're going to be looking at. So those practices that makes you healthy: eating right, be physically active, exercise regularly, maintain healthy lifestyle, and go for regular checkup. Please take note. If you're jotting down, jot down those 5 things. Don't just take one and leave the other one. It's not a good well-being practice. So you eat right. You understand what we say. We didn't say eat, balanced diet. You could have all these things. I mean, you could be wealthy enough to have all these things, but you're not eating right. You could have the whole world. I mean, they could open your freezer, your refrigerators, and you have everything that the life has blessed you with, but you are still not eating right. If not, why will a rich man be sick and you have to fly the person abroad? I mean, why should that happen? Why will somebody that has made a lot of money break down with cancer and all that? Why would we start? I mean, it hurts. It hurts me to see that we trade our life for money. And in the end, we want to start trading money for life. Take note these 2 things. You want to trade your life for money, and then at the point where you have gotten that money, you're not trading money for life. You're not using that money to take care of yourself, to go for dialysis, to go to travel abroad, to go for checkup and all that, to go put pacemaker and all that. It doesn't help. It means, why growing up? Why becoming an adult? You weren't doing the right thing you're supposed to do. You had all the money, you just wasted it. So let us see some of those things. So good health is very impossible without good nutrition. And for good nutrition, you need a healthy, balanced diet. So you need to consider the intake of everything, the intake of salt, your intake of sugar, and all that. You need to watch the portion size that you eat. And that is why I say you have to eat right. In my study, in my research, I found out that there are 2 types of eaters. The first type is the gastronomic eater, and the second are the scientific eaters. I fall into the class of the scientific eaters. What are the differences? The scientific eaters are those who eat for the value of what the food is. They don't just eat anything because it is passed to them because they have seen free food. Those are scientific eaters. They eat per the value of what is served them. So what quantity of vegetable is here? What quantity of what is number of fruits that are here? I mean, what is the quantity of oil and all that, the vegetable? Those are scientific eaters. I mean, they want to eat the value. But the gastronomic eaters want to feed their tummy, the GIT, gastro. In fact, they can eat, just give me four fufu and 4 wheat with small soup. I just want, this stomach is empty, I'm hungry. Just bring it. Those are gastronomic eaters. Which class do you belong? I mean, before now, do you just eat because they serve it and you're eating? Okay. So, how healthy is your plate? Yeah. How healthy is your plate? So, you have vegetables, fruits, whole grain, healthy protein, this water, clean water, healthy oil. This makes a complete healthy eating plate. Yeah. For you to stay active. So, I mean, you're going to get the slides, some a few, so, but you could just glance through all this. So this makes a healthy eating plate. So if you don't have this, at least in a day's meal, then you're not eating right, I can tell you're not. So we want to change our diet, okay? We want to change what we eat. I tell people when I teach, I was teaching, I went to do a presentation in one school and in one junior secondary school. They said I should come teach them because they're in the hostel and the children are losing it. And the restaurant or their dining mistress who cook good food for these children, and they will just, when they come back to the dining room, they find out that the children have not eaten. So sad, so sad, I can tell you. The children have not eaten at all. And so they called me to come give them lecture on healthy living. And in between the lecture, and I asked a question, children, they say, yes, auntie. I mean, how many of you love beans and unripe plantain? They say, God forbid, auntie, God forbid. Hey, okay. How many of you love yam and palm oil? Of course, you know the content of palm oil, what it can give to children. Auntie, God forbid, I don't understand. Say something that is lively. Really? Beans? For growth? I mean, protein, like we learned, building block of the cells. And when I ask, how many of you love Indomie? I mean, some of them jump on top of their seats, some of them scream. Some even raise their legs and their hands for me to show how loving they love the Indomie. Wow. Just Indomie. I didn't even say Indomie and egg. And when I said, okay, how many of you love Indomie with some fresh tomatoes and auntie, God forbid, I mean, remove all those nonsense. Tell us Indomie and what is fresh tomatoes and oh my God, our generation of children, what are we really doing? Parents, what are you doing to your children? How come you're changing the taste bud of your children? For crying out loud. How come you're making them love sweet things from childhood? So what are you really teaching them? How come you're giving them carbonated drinks all the time? And when you try to extract oranges and pineapple, they don't want to drink. What is happening to our generation? And I tell you, so most of the things we are eating, so you have to be careful what you eat. When I say eat the right food, I mean eat food that are naturally made. You could grow your own food. I was teaching adults and I told them, yes, we know we don't have farm in the city, but yet you still have space where you do flower. I mean, the flowers we even have in our homes today don't even have fine fragrances. I grew up knowing Queen of the Night. I mean, my grandma have this garden that every night I want to just sleep beside the garden because you have this smell. They call it Queen of the Night. I think to the ones we can see. I grew up knowing rose flower because I grew up in Jos. But today, the flower you're putting in your house, you have to beautify your house. But what is the knowledge that you acquired before you bought that flower and to decorate? That's what we are talking about. What are the fragrances that? So can you turn that flower pot to at least put small vegetable and scent leaf and pepper, natural thing that you can just wash and bring, even if you don't have space for farming? Can you grow natural things for yourself? Eat right, eat good. I mean, let's be realistic here, right? Let's be realistic. And so that's what we are saying, that we just have to. So those explains a very healthy food, healthy plate. I mean, we just have to teach our children how to do this from infancy. From the time you're weaning them, you just have to introduce these things to their taste, but they just get to know and understand why it is necessary that they do that. The second is physical. Yes. So the second practice is be physically active. Exercise. Yes, I mean, there was a scientific conference that we attended, and it was discovered that those who have whose circumference, stomach, belly circumference is more than their hip, their waist circumference, have the chances of developing diabetes. And it's correct, yeah. So whatever you do, make sure that your waist circumference is more than your belly circumference. That makes you healthier. Yeah, that is the truth, and that is the science. And I will say that most of our stomach have turned to be burial ground of every source of rotting animals. So when you open a typical man's animal, you see nkwobi, dead meat, you see dead meat, suya, all dead meat. That's why I call this the burial ground of every source of meat. So how fit are you? There are 4 things that I want you to take note of. There are 4 things. You don't just exercise. Remember, we are teaching you the right knowledge today. You don't just exercise. So you have endurance. You want to check your endurance, check your able fitness. Can you do 1 mile every morning? Okay. So try and see if a healthy person can actually do 10,000 steps every day. A healthy person, if you're very super healthy and you are above 40, you can do 10,000 steps. So how do you do? Just watching as you're moving, even inside the house, be counting. You know, today we have some scientific watches that can actually count your steps all through. So within your company, while you're working, is counting it. So you could just get those simple electronic gadgets that could be counted. A healthy person will do 10,000 steps every day. Strength, how? So you could use push-ups to know your strength level, the elasticity of your muscle and all that. Sit and reach test. You want to check your flexibility. When you sit, I mean, do you have the sharp pain, you know, at your sacrum and all that? So you want to check how flexible, how far you can go. And then you estimate your body composition. That's where the BMI comes in and all that. So you also want to note how often, frequency, duration, and intensity of the exercise you're doing. Of course, you have to see your physician. You have to discuss with your physician. Where you're going for gym, you have to discuss with the expert there on how far you can go. You don't just see because you're seeing younger people building limb muscle and you just want to do that. Okay, so those are exercises that. So the BMI, so for those of you who don't know what the regular BMI statistics should look like, so this is it. So if you had 18.5, of course, you're trying to want to look at your height, your weight over your height in centimeters square, and for you to actually estimate what your body mass index is. So from this chart, so after today, you go check and then if you're below 18.5, then you're underweight. If you're within 18 and 24.9, you're healthy weight, very healthy. So 25 to 29.9, you're overweight moderately. I want to use the word moderately. I mean, in between, you could have 25, and then you could have 30, 35, then above 40 could be overweight, obese. I mean, that's obesity. Sometimes we even record 40, like as the case may be, depending on your height anyway. Okay, so those are what we want to check in checking your body mass index. So the next thing that you must do also as one of your practice is to connect to others. Yes, connection. Connect with your spirit being, God Almighty that you serve. Find time to connect. When you do that, meditation, when you do that, your brain picks up. Do you know that 60% of oxygen goes to the brain, and also oxidative stress also comes from the brain, and so you have a lot of toxins. And I'm so worried. Don't worry, in the next class I'm going to break down oxidative stress, and you see what the natural thing that God has given us in the form of glutathione that can actually help mop up the cells from oxidative stress. I'm going to be teaching. Those are the new knowledge that you need to understand, because there's a reason why I told you cellular biology is the new medicine, is the in thing now. And so most persons don't even know what we're talking about when we talk about cellular antioxidant, cellular preventive antioxidant that mops up our brain, our cells from all those toxins, all those free radicals that we accumulate as we eat, as we burn, as we metabolize and all that. So we're going to be teaching that in the next class. So connection is very important. Connect with your loved ones, even while you're offshore, onshore, however, work, another state, however, connect with your family members, connect with your loved one, connect with your school friends. There must be somebody that you confide in that makes you happy. Connect with that person. The next is rest and learn how to relax. Relaxation technique. Very, very important. Learn how to relax. Yes. Find time to listen to music. Yeah, find time to rest. Find time to enjoy yourself. Find time, to go to a garden. Find time to go to the beach. There's healing that comes from the sea, from salt water. I mean, I've experimented it so much time. Find time to connect. Find time to learn how to relax. Relaxation. Okay. Get your rest and sleep. What kind of sleeping pattern do you have? In this case, I'm talking about quality of sleep and not quantity of sleep. Someone might be sleeping 8 hours, and those hours, you're being chased by your ancestors, hallucination and all that. And when your dog barks, you just wake up. Why someone might just take 2 hours sleep, and that sleep is sound. You wake up feeling, you know that you have slept well when you have this energy, when you can jump up. When you feel so good about yourself, not waking up so tired. Okay. Find time to sleep. And I want to say, of course, next month I'll teach you those practices that you must do that will help you, induce you to sleep rather than believing in sedative. I'm going to teach you all that. But do you have the habit of, because you want to sleep? Bedtime is where you are now surfing the net, tweeting, Facebooking, TikToking. You shouldn't. You should tell your brain what you want it to do. You should regulate yourself when you want to take a nap. And people, your friends, your family members should respect that, when you want to sleep and all that, And do you know that your children also, growth occurs at night, do you know? Do you know when your child is adding a cm, a centimeter to his height and all that? A lot of organs are nourished. They work very well the next day. When you make them to rest, they need to rest. Okay, so we need to have this proper attitude. So maintain a healthy lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle is no. Sitting down all the time is a no for me. And next month, I will teach your company, I will teach organization, I will teach you how you can introduce good work well-being practice in the workplace. I was so impressed when I went to Mombasa Hospital in Kenya, and I was so impressed. Like, this is the time when the whole doctors and nurses come out and have a 10 minutes, aerobic, and they have this music. It's an organized system thing. You don't miss it. And the patient apart from ICU emergency, but they alternate it in a week. It was a lovely thing I have not seen, that a corporate organization could have a system where they are so concerned about the well-being of their staff. That is encouraging. Can we develop such lifestyle, or we just sit all the time? Finally, we want to go into your numbers, which is the fifth statistics. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. The doctors in the house want you to know your numbers. We are tired of the fire brigade approach. We are tired of coming to us and you want me to do miracle. We are tired of that. So there are basic health screening that you men should be serious about after the age 40, as well as women should do. So skin cancer checks necessary. You need to check your blood pressure. You need to know your PSA value. You need to go for an eye exam. I think every 6 months is necessary. You need to visit your dentist. You need to check your glucose level, your blood glucose level. And it's so necessary. Don't worry now. When we discover the science of well-being, you will see the role that some parts of our brain play, and you see why you should not be anxious. That each time you get anxious, you trigger something in your brain. I'm going to be discussing the science of well-being. You see why you don't need to get anxious. Sometimes you cause these things for yourselves, So cholesterol level is very important. You need to check all that. You need to do an ECG and all that. For women, you need to go for cervical screening. You need to know your HIV status. I'm talking from the experience of my the organization I am with now, National Agency for the Control of HIV. So, you need to check all that. You don't need to leave your life in the hands of another person. The law of screening that you need to do, both for your adolescent girls as well as for some young women listening to me. There are a lot of things you need to check. So for blood pressure, hypertension is not, how will I diagnose it? It's not a case that you just come, okay, I want to come and treat high blood pressure. It's actually something we find out in the event that you visit the hospital for one complaint or the other. Have you noticed that? Yes. So we don't want that. So you need to know the number. You need to know what your normal blood pressure is, and that you checked it once does not mean that you're hypertensive. I want you to know that we check it 4 times in 24 hours, right? So once you do that, 4 times 4, and it takes every 6 hours, and you take the average, that will tell you actually if you're hypertensive or not, if you're developing hypertension. You know, it's not just one time testing and all that. So these are the ranges according to age, but you have to also see your doctor. Yeah. Men. I keep saying men need to be very, very careful how they live their life. You need to be very, very careful how you live your life. Yes, because a lot of things come in contact, come to play as a man, and it's so sad the way men are having loss of libido, low sperm counts. When we did it's a study, and we found out that as young as 25 to 30 don't even have healthy spermatozoa and the required number. So it's so sad, I can tell you, and we're seeing the rate of infertility on the increase. So please, we need to be careful what we do. So these are the normal levels. So you go check up PSA level and see what it is according to age again. Yeah. And so you could meet your doctors, you can advise us after now. Yeah, don't worry, just glance through it. We'll be sharing all this. Yeah, your blood glucose level is also very important. You need to check whether you're hyperglycemic. Some persons here, some women during pregnancy, they tend to have this gestational diabetes and all that. So ruling out some physiological changes, but we want you to understand that on the normal circumstance, normal setting, this is what normal blood glucose level should be. And if it's getting to the borderline, what should you do at this point? And what should you not do also? So I want you to take note of all that. We just can't discuss everything, but we're just mentioning the vital one that you should do, okay? And all that. So as a recap, like we said, so those are certain things that we want you to do. Okay, so finally, like we said, you have to put your trust in God. Yes, because God even encouraged exercise. At one time, he said body training is beneficial for a while, and then you have to think about that. God also at one point said gluttony is also a sin. You know, I mean, having all sorts of food and you're eating. The same Bible also said take wine, but in moderation. Okay, you don't have to be. You need to know your limit when you should take for. Okay, and all that. Women, I didn't forget to, your cervical cancer and all that. And before I start taking the question I leave, I noticed that my boss, is here, and I mean, give honor to whom honor is due. My mentors that have been training me and get me to the point where I am. I'm so lucky and so happy to see that Dr. Yewande Olaife. Dr. Yewande is a deputy director in the Prevention Care and Services Unit of the National Agency for the Control of HIV, and she's here. And I have Dr. Ndukwe as well. Dr. Ndukwe Dana is the director of Prevention Care Services of the National Agency for the Control of HIV. I mean, they are all here in this call. And Dr. Yewande said, well, she's so happy, and I want her to just say hi. I admire her so much for her wealth of knowledge. Dr. Yewande, please, are you here?
Yes, she's here.
Okay. So can we have her?
Yes. Go ahead, Dr. Yewande. You can unmute yourself. You're muted. You're muted, ma. It seems she's still muted.
Okay. Yeah, she's coming. Dr. Yoade, unmute yourself. Um,
Okay.
Okay. While we are
All right.
waiting for her to just say hi, so I want to thank all of you. I will take some few questions. There are a lot we need to discuss, but I can tell you next month, Mr. Mike, we're going to exhaust all that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. And I think we can all give a virtual clap to her, please. Can we give a virtual clap, please? Yes, if you can give a virtual clap, please, to her. And now we can now take the question. Thank you very much, madam. I think it was really, 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 really insightful. And I think we can go to the chat box now to see what we have in the Pandora box. we we have a number of questions here, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
the first one here says, if I leave the job because of my social problem without any alternative, will it not aggravate my social problem situation? I knew this question would come. Especially now that there are no jobs in Nigeria.
Yeah, I can actually identify with that because I actually have this patient. I have two patients, so to speak. This is just a life experience to tell you what this social health can actually cause. So two of them have this regular persistent headache, which is pain, and one of them, is pathological because we did the test and there was malaria, typhoid, significant, and all that. So we tried to give the analgesic and all that, and he was okay. But I have this one that we keep giving, treating, we give analgesic, keep changing all kinds of analgesic. This headache persists. Sometimes he's holding his head, and I decided to leave drug. I told my team, no drug this time. I mean, Mr. A, just come to my office, sit down. I decided to listen to him. I started to go psychological, Mr. A, can you tell me what is the problem? For the past 6 weeks, you've been regular headache. We've ruled out everything that's pathologically and otherwise. What is the problem? Now talk to me. Sometimes physicians and clients come to the hospital believing that as doctors and clinicians, there are certain things we don't understand. And because we make it so, we feel that everything has what to send them to the lab. Everything has a scientific rationale behind it. But when you want to, and they feel that the other one that think spiritual, we don't really understand. We didn't study that in school. They wouldn't want to. But when you want to bring yourself to them. And so I asked him, you know what he told me? His wife is expectant. The landlord has quit him. He has been thinking about this and all that, all kinds of problems, accumulated anxiety. And I told him, Mr. A, we're going to find a way of solving this problem. Let's see your house rent. I'll see what I can do to see how we can solve the problem of your house rent. He looked at me. I mean, I saw this blood circulation. I saw life coming into him. You understand? He said, what did you say, doctor? I said, yes, I'm not promising everything, but we are going to 50%. I'll be in this program to let's see how we can relieve that. Do you know in the next 2 hours the headache vanished? Mr. Mike, real life story. So for the question, I can identify with that. Yes, you leave your job and then you have more complication. But the question now is, you also have more complication at later age if you don't devise a means of managing your job. And so it's not a question of leaving your job. So if you fall in the class of those who don't have good work-life balance, that's what this lecture is all about. So try to love your job, try to be there because you love your job and make yourself happy, make your office happy. You come to your office, there's nothing to work with. Try to make yourself happy. I mean, there are many ways you could do that. Next question, sir.
All right, thank you very much, madam. So could it be right to say the man did not have malaria but monaria? That's money.
Yes. yes. In fact, in my language, I call it pocketitis, inflammation of the
pocket. Okay, inflammation of the pocket. I've never heard that before. Okay, I'm learning fast. Monaria and pocketitis. All right, let's go to the next one. Does it mean that nobody can or is living in good health? don't you think that payments can make someone develop interest or have affinity for his job? I, I think it's from that same statement you made the
Yes,
last.
sure, sure.
Okay. Then there is someone who said, "This is so sad. I lost a 32-year-old cousin, okay, to wrong herbal medicine dosage. His system packed up in a week." So what's your advice on, you have a lot of herbal mixtures being
Mhm.
advertised even on YouTube, everywhere now you have a lot of them. So what
Yeah.
would be the safe path to take?
Yeah, I think the safe part to take is one, like I said, what are the facts about what you're taking? What are the facts? What data is backing up? What are the success stories? Like for me, I know for those of you who know me, not just pardon me, not like I'm selling my product or whatever. Everybody who know me understand that even some of my patients whom I actually recommended and antioxidants, glutathione, Cellgevity, they were asking me why. I said my patients were doing well because, of course,
Yeah, it appears we have lost comms with her. But I think I can still see her here.
You can hear me, right? So
Yes, I can hear you. Great.
okay,
Okay, go
so
ahead.
so I
Yeah.
said yes. I have to switch to another phone. So I said, well, for me, you people know that
We can't hear you
because
again.
there are over 25 advertised. Oh, you can't hear me?
Now we can hear
You
you.
can't
We
hear
lost you
me?
momentarily. We can hear you
Yeah,
now.
we
We
can
can
Oh,
hear
hear
you
you
so
now.
now.
sorry. Okay, so sorry. So I said, well, I have to check. I said this supplement I'm recommending Surgeovit to my client because it has 25 peer reviewed studies. It's a science based on, and I want to look at the person that brought it. You know, he's a very seasoned toxicologist and all that. I did a lot of research on all that, and I had some studies. You know, over 45 peer studies that have been done on independent studies that yes, glutathione is very important for health, and I could identify with the mechanism of action. So if something I'm taking does not have a mechanism of action or what exactly am I looking for, I don't go for it. So I think knowledge is very important. You check what are the facts before you take whatever you want to take. That is what I will say on that.
All right. Thank you very much, madam. You have some more questions, but just before I go to the other questions, please, if you want to receive the slides, the materials, there is a link we have put up on the chat box. Just click on it. You will join the Aspire for Excellence Foundation webinar series WhatsApp group. We're going to share it maybe tomorrow or this night. Please just click on the link and you can join directly to receive the material. Now I have three questions from someone. Maybe he's a professor, Professor Victor Beida. Thanks for coming. The first question: what's the role of fasting in activating autophagy and maintaining optimum health? So I told you we have a professor on board. So this is the first question.
Yeah.
So
The
there are
next
other
one.
questions he has asked. Okay, you will take all of them together. Okay. The
Yes.
second one is: does chronic emotional distress have an impact on susceptibility to illness? I take it again.
Mhm.
Does
Yeah.
chronic emotional distress have an impact
Mm-hmm.
on susceptibility to illness?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And
second
next one.
question. Then
Yeah.
the third question: causes of insulin resistance and its relationship with weight gain and pre-diabetes. I guess probably he
Okay.
wants to ask what are the causes of insulin resistance and what's its relationship with weight gain
Yes.
and pre-diabetes. Okay, these are all the questions I have
Yeah.
here for now. If you have more
Okay.
questions,
So
just keep them flowing. Thank you.
yes. So for Prof, because I've already mentioned, because what he asks are very vital questions. Like I said, the science, I know why I brought that topic, the science of well-being. So most persons don't know that every question he asks, the emotional components, the hormones, and all that have something play out with how the body reacts to them and how they predisposes us to ill health. And those questions I'm going to be taking. If I start it, it means I have touched the science of well-being. So I'm going to touch all that because he's going to be seeing the role of the cortisol, epinephrine, the role of the brain, like he was asking about the emotional and all that linking to our health. I'm going to be touching all that and seeing how this component leads to diabetes, hypertension. I'm going to be touching all that in the science of well-being next month. Professor Sir, please just permit me.
All right. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. Next month, we will be having the science of well-being.
It
Okay.
is a well, it's a
We'll
power
be having
packed.
we'll be having the science of well-being and well-being practice next month,
Yeah.
the third Saturday of the month. Okay, we're going to be rounding up now. Just before we go, is there anyone who has a question who wants to? You could just raise up your hands digitally, of course. I mean, I can see your hand and I can call you up. Someone tried to raise his hand earlier on, but the person put down the hand. If you don't, because there's no more question in the chat box.
Okay.
Does anyone have any more
Because,
questions? Okay, go ahead, madam. Go ahead,
yeah,
Dr.
no, for
Sylvia.
those, yes, for his questions, someone type it so we don't forget it. So we'll add it in the
Okay.
slide I'm preparing.
Okay. Okay. You mean the questions that were asked, the three questions that have just been asked?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And other questions too, because it's good to start to have some of these questions as a follow-up for future. Even the
Okay.
ones that have been answered, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. I get the point. Even the one including Monaria and pocketitis.
Hepatitis. Yeah, for others too to learn, sure.
Okay. So today I've learned a new vocabulary. I think there is a new question here, and this is coming
Okay.
from Alalibo. I struggle to listen to the presentation. I guess it's a poor network from my location. I have taken lots
Ouch.
of learning from here today. Thank you, Dr. Sylvia, and
You're
to the
welcome.
convener. Okay, no, that's good. That's a fair comment.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
that's good. That's good. That's a fair comment. Okay. All right. If there are no further questions today, I guess we'll
Dr.
probably need to.
Howard, okay, yeah, he's
Let
not
me
here.
check. Let me check
Okay.
if Dr. Yewande is still here, but however muted. You're talking of Dr. Yewande or Laifa.
Yeah,
That's the name.
yeah,
That's the name
like,
I see. That's the name I
yes.
see here.
Okay.
But I think it's still muted, and I can't unmute. Okay. All right, no problem. I just want to take this period to thank you. So one more time, everyone, could you please give a digital applause to Dr. Sylvia Okoro today for the session? Please, if you can help me do that,
Thank you.
I
Thank you so
truly
much.
will appreciate that. Thank you very much, Dr. Sylvia, for
Thank
coming.
you so
You,
much. Thank you,
you don't
everyone.
you don't know, you may just have saved a life. Okay.
Thank you
Okay. You
so
said
much.
thank you for the presentation. Very educative. By this is Oyetunde Yenirom. I know him personally, a pastor. Thank you very much. So
Thank
thank
you
you very much,
so
sir.
much.
So a lot of people are
Thank you.
giving you emojis, hearts,
I am
claps.
humbled. I'm humbled. Thank you so
So,
much.
so, so thank you very much. So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
all.
sir.
All right. So thank you all for taking out time to come tonight. And I hope that you've learned one or two things. I'm going to send the slide back. I'll put it on the Aspire for Excellence WhatsApp group so you can have it. And next month, like she said, we're going to be having the science of well-being and well-being practice. And maybe we will hear a bit about, is this cellular biology or what do you call it? I really don't know
Yes,
what it is.
cellular biology and the role of antioxidant in fighting oxidative stress. Those are all
Okay.
signs of well-being.
May it be as you have said. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay. All right,
Oh,
bye everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
all right. Thank